Okay, I see. Guys, I thought, first of all, I'd love to say it was good to have a full team, a roster full of guys that obviously can go in a game. I was glad to get CJ back, not just because he's our leading scorer, but it's good to have him in the locker room. As he was going through the concussion protocol, it was tough to even have him into games and in the locker room, and we needed some senior leadership on and off the court. That being said, I thought everybody that played the game, one thing we talked about is being a star in your role. And I'm trying to get everybody to accept what their role is and be able to play as aggressive as they can in their role and be able to, any given night, because we don't have that one guy that can score 20 every night. Somebody else can lead us. I thought DJ Funderburg was tremendous in the starting role. I wanted to reward him because he had played so great and he did a good job. And I thought Jericho coming off the bench gave us a great lift and didn't put his head down because he didn't start. So many guys played well. Was very happy with Devin Daniels. I thought Devin was very aggressive, got to the rim, did some good things, made some shots, and we don't talk a lot about him on the defensive end. We were able to press a little bit more, even though it was a little bit more man-to-man. That being said, it helped us guard the three-point line. A lot of times teams don't shoot well against us because we press them and then their legs are wore off the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and we haven't been able to do that. We haven't guarded the three-point line lately. One of the reasons is because we haven't been able to press. When you look at these guys, they were 3 for 16, and then we turned them over 15 times, which I thought was a very good positive for us. We came into the game wanting to take away the big three, or at least one of the big three, and I thought we did. When you look at McGusty, I think he only had 2 points. We knew that if all 3 of those guys played well, it would be a long night for us, and I thought we did a good job taking those guys away. So, questions?
Kevin, CJ said he was almost happy that it was a blocking foul on Rodney Miller. I said, couldn't you have picked on Chris Likes? Were you? He said he was happy that he was able to get up. Did you hold your breath at all, or did you interpret that sequence as not so great for first game back?
Well, me, Joe. I'm wondering why it wasn't a charge. I'm looking around. No, once he was cleared, man, I don't worry about it anymore. I just let him play. And it was for him. It probably meant more to him than anybody else in our locker room to take a hit and to be able to get up and not feel a little bit funny about it. And but I was bagging the referees. I thought it was a charge, but I'll go back and look at it and see what it was as a charge. I don't know if it was or not.
Early on, a lot of your guys' shots weren't falling, but the guys didn't panic. What does it say about the maturity of this team and what you're able to do on defense?
Well, we hadn't, Reggie, before, we hadn't done that. And when our offense was not going, we would struggle. Tonight, we matured a little bit because we relied on our defense, even though our offense wasn't scoring. In the last few games when we wasn't scoring, we suffered and we gave up too many easy baskets. We talked about building on that. We talked about the maturity of this team. It's so tough on us because it's weird, and I know a lot of coaches can say this across the country. I haven't had this full team together for majority of our losses, which is tough because you wonder if you had them, would you have lost the game? We wouldn't be able to tell by that, but certainly we want to try to get these guys together and build on it and mature from it. That's what I want this group to do. They've got to grow up fast. The ACC comes at you really fast. The games come at you really fast, and I need to grow up.
Kevin, you mentioned starting DJ. What's gotten into him lately?
I think he's just playing to his potential. I'll be honest with you. I used to tell the assistant coaches all the time, I was like, man, he's just not in great shape. And I think he's been getting in the gym, putting some extra rep in, and getting in better shape. Early in the season, I didn't think he could play for stretches. If you guys remember, he obviously didn't play in the Georgia Tech game, but he missed a lot of time because he was suspended. And, I didn't let him be around the program, so I think that hurt his condition. But I think it's now that he can play long stretches and he started to get in better shape and he started to play with confidence. He even hit a 3. Is that his first 3? First one in conference play, all right?
Yeah.
I think he was 0 for 6 in conference play. Now he's 1 for 8. And did he have any shoe as assistants? This will tell everybody.
He got 1.
Oh man, 2 turnovers.
and the skyhook.
And the skyhook. Was it a skyhook? Was it the Kareem skyhook, or was it just like a skyhook?
Bill Cartwright.
All right, I'll take it. That's good. You guys are funny today too.
Coach, you talk about having the whole team together. Is this kind of how you envisioned seeing how these guys play, not just the style, but the result as well?
Yeah, it is, and I would love to obviously have at least one more guy in the rotation. When we started the season, I was hoping that the team would have 10 guys that I could rotate in and out and be able to press the entire game and makes every time we scored. But I like what we have, and I like the 9 guys. And if I can keep DJ Funderburg at the 4, I think it helps our team a little bit this year. That being said, then I need Danny Dixon to continue to get better. He's getting healthy. We don't talk about him a lot because he doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he also was healthy, and so he was also hurt, so I wasn't able to play him at the 5. I would use DJ Moore as a 5. So if I can get those guys, Danny, to become more serviceable and do some good things, and him and Manny play the 5, I can utilize DJ a little bit more at the 4.
Coach Larinaga felt like the fact that you started the 2 big men caused major problems for them. Their big men got in foul trouble, so they couldn't rebound, couldn't score inside. In the second half, you didn't use the 2 bigs together very much. Was that a function of mission accomplished, or going forward, is it the fact that you really prefer 4 guards and 1 big, and that's what we're going to see more of?
No, I think when they went small, I wanted DJ's. Even though we play him at the 4 or 5, he's a guy that can switch all 5 screens. And so they went kind of small and played Wardenberg at the 5, and so we went a little smaller with DJ at the 5 and just switched more screens. And it was more so that I could get C.J. Bryce some extra minutes to be able to play and try to get some game action a little bit.
Going forward, will you use the 2 bigs together some then, or will we see more of the 1-4?
You have to wait till Saturday.
Every game's different.
Ain't giving my secret away.
Kevin, how are you guys able to take Dusty totally out of this game? It seems like they're pretty much a 3-headed monster of all the lights and DJ also getting on.
So you guys will laugh at this. The last 3 or 4 practices, we would go into the scout report. So I would say we were in practice 3 or 4 days ago, and I said, I told them these are the things that we say in a timeout. And I brought them all in. It was after they were all tired. And I said, these are the things that we say in the timeout. And I said, I may tell you that the score is 75-70. I may say if they in man-to-man, then we're going to run X3 flow. If they're in zone, we may run zone 1. I may tell you that we have 2 timeouts left. If they tie you up, don't call a timeout. It's our possession. And then, so after I'd said all of that to them, I made them spread out across the gym, and I gave them a test. I gave them all 5 questions that I asked for, and the bonus question is, what is the last key that I say on the board before they go out? The last key I always say is have fun. And so you guys, man, I would never release it to you, but you would have fun looking at some of the answers. Like, I'll give you this, you can joke Manny Bates. I told him it was 75-70, so one of the questions was, how much are we up? Manny Bates said 19. So to go back to your question is, we're starting to understand scouting reports, because I realized we were spending all of this time and going through scouting report and film, and guys didn't know to take their right hand away. That being said, 23 is a right-hand driver. We wanted to put him on his left all night, see if he could be effective there. It worked for us tonight. I did the same thing the other day. It was JJ scouting. JJ went through the personnel. As soon as we got on the floor, I went on the floor. I gave them 5 pieces of paper and said, tell me their height, their position, and what's their strengths. I mean, we had a couple guys, like Rodney Miller's 7 foot tall. We had a couple guys said he was 6'4", and so they don't pay attention. And so we got to do a better job in that area. I got to help them pay attention. And so I'm not saying I love my guys. Their grades are good. They're doing a great job, but they lose focus after a certain amount of time. And that's something as a coach that we all have to adapt with around the country. A lot of you guys have, you got kids or nephews or nieces, and, you know, these handheld devices right here that we're looking at, they change the game. And so I've been able to do that. So long answer, but they're learning scout reports. How about this?
So what are the questions you're going to ask for Saturday's game?
I don't know yet. It's probably not going to be about the game. Now, I tell you what you guys can do to me. Send a couple questions that you ask them when you're in there, and I'll ask them, do you remember what so-and-so asked you? But you got to send the answer what they said, too, so I know that. I got to give them a test every day now. I'm telling you, I have to. Next. You guys should try that. I'm telling you. Try that with your coworkers. Try it with your spouses.